The Council for Tigers just a short time ago. Game number 6 then, this magic weekend. The sun's still beating down. The pitch still virtually fully in sun, so it's going to be hot work out there for these two teams as the Giants come out. Good support for both these clubs. The Warrington fans in the ground already. There is Red Ferris ready to get this game underway. Danny Brough as well, and Robert Hicks is our referee today. And this one widely predicted to be a comfortable win for the Huddersfield Giants against Bradford Bulls side struggling with form and with absentees today. Manakafoa, Blythe, Fakir, Ferguson, Roberts, Donaldson, injured, Kafesi ineligible for this one. It's a weakened Bradford Bulls side against anything but a weak Huddersfield Giants team.
I think everyone's really worried about how they're going to compete up front. You've got Chev Walker playing in the front row, you've got Adrian Patel, both outside backs playing in the forwards, and then you look on the bench, they've got a hooker, a winger, a second row and a centre. So as the game goes on, the weather is hot, it's going to really take its toll on some of these Bradford players, Bill. But
Huddersfield Giants haven't been performing to the level they set last season when they won the league leadership. They've stuttered at times this season. The kick, though, straight into the arms of fullbacks Griggs, and he returns it at pace. Bradford, you feel, if they're going to win this, have got to do everything spot on. Can't afford any errors, and have got to be right at the top of their game to compete with the Huddersfield Giants.
They've got to make sure that they go set for set, they turn the ball over on their terms, they play very disciplined with the ball, and when they do kick the ball down the other end of the field, they make sure that they're disciplined in the chase and don't give away those penalties, those relieving penalties.
Brough, Robinson, Griggs chiming in. Danny Addy making the tackle. Addy quickly across to try and close down Luke Robinson as he hoists the kick. Well taken by Elliot Keir, and Keir making a good few yards for this Bradford Bulls side.
Well, that's a wonderful take from Elliot Keir. Just to follow on the point that you were making, Tez, I think what they can't do is Bradford can't get in a forward battle and a short strength. They need to try and outsmart and use players like Gaskell, use players like Foster early on in the tackle count to start that speed of the play of the ball. The intelligence of Diskin from number 9 could possibly do for Bradford what Hulkiar did in the form of Hodgson yesterday.
I think there's sometimes a little bit of pressure on teams in the situation now like the Huddersfield Giants, because there are absolutely no excuses. The form's good, they've won the last 4 games, they've only used 24 players so far this season. They've been very, very consistent, or had the ability to be consistent in their player selection. And we all know what the troubles that the Bradford Bulls have gone through. They've had a little bit of positivity, they've had a good win against the Catalan Dragons in the Challenge Cup after a thumping by Wigan the week before, and a remarkable victory over the Warrington Wolves, only to follow that up by a thumping again 50-0 by St Helens. So if you give the Bradford Bulls a chance, I'm sure they'll take it, and Huddersfield, for me, are under a little bit of pressure to be almost perfect in everything they do today.
Meanwhile, knock on, and Bradford will get head and feed.
Well, the Huddersfield head and feed here, Bill. I've ruled that Diskin stole the ball one-on-one, and then he's lost the ball on the ground. The knock-on's on the far side.
I talked about Matt Diskin, but this player, when he's on his game, Sean Lunt, is as good as anybody. It looks and appears to be a Bradford scrum.
It's a Bradford head and feed.
Bradford head and feed. Sure, I heard the touch call, it was a Huddersfield head and feed.
Has Robert Hicks overruled him then?
Must have done.
Not overruled your bit, Stuart, has he? Goodness me.
Well, Bradford, they need that sort of thing here today. Here is Lee Gaskell. They need everything to go their way. They need all those sort of breaks to go their way. Danny Addy. Here is prop for the day, Chev Walker. Plays the ball. Sidlow now. Addy, quick hands from him. George took that one in well, under pressure from Aaron Murphy, but couldn't make any progress because Brough made the follow-up tackle. Sidlow once more. 4 tackles gone right in front of those posts for the Bradford Bulls. Here is Danny Addy. Pirtle now. Addy once more, and Addy will try and burrow his way over, and he will. Has Danny Addy got the first try of this game? Robert Hicks just wants to check the grounding. But Danny Addy has burrowed his way over there, I'm sure. The video refs will have a look at this one, though.
Well, there's certainly nothing wrong in the build-up to the score in the corner. It's about what happens. Is he still in possession? Does he get the ball down over the line and grounded correctly? Addy's got the ball. In possession. He reaches out. Oh, it's very close. Does he have pressure on the ball? Does he have his hand on the ball as it's going down? Only has to have a fingertip on that ball as he's putting it down for it to count.
It looks like it's his thumb that has downward pressure on it. It'd be a great start to the game for the Bulls. Big confidence boost to the Bradford side. This is the best angle, you feel.
I think there's enough there to give the try. You know, you don't have to. You just have to have part of your hand on the ball as it's going down, and there's nothing there that shows that he doesn't. But I think he'd probably get this at worst, benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, let's give him a try here. I'm with you, Barry. I think his thumb's on the ball here. His fingers aren't on the ball, but his thumb is. So, in your mind, Stuart, you think that's a try?
Because it could be the palm of the hand. I think you could probably say that the palm of the hand is on there, even though his fingers aren't. So, you know, that I would think that's probably try at worst, benefit of the doubt.
Steve Ganson and Ian Smith in the video ref booth, still having a look at this.
Decision is try to Danny Addy.
Third try of the season for Danny Addy, and exactly the start that the Bradford Bulls needed. And it came from that scrum where it looked as though Huddersfield were going to get head and feet. It was Bradford who got it, and they made the most of it.
Well, this really did look better at full speed. Purtell strong enough to hold off three Giants defenders, and really the Bradford Bulls have no right to score a try in that situation so early on in the game. Luke Robinson's in there, so's Leroy Cudjoe. Great offload and support from Danny Addy, and still takes two defenders over. There's the ball steal, and maybe Matt Diskin got his reward on that. Big play to take a ball away one-on-one. Strong, powerful, determined. They've left the dressing room with something, the Bradford Bulls, and they don't want to be embarrassed this afternoon.
Foster from the sidelines, and 2 more points. And Bradford 6-0 up here at the Etihad Stadium, where last season they were hammered by the Huddersfield Giants 42-6.
When you're low on troops, you just got to go out there and you've got to have that mindset. Look, nobody's giving us a chance. Let's go out there, try our best. And what a brilliant start for the Bradford fans to come up and score the opening try. Danny Addy, a good opening 6 minutes for the Bradford club. Can they keep this performance up?
Sidlow plays that ball. Well, that'll lift the Bradford Bulls' spirits. And they needed lifting after they were taken to the cleaners by St Helens last time out. They're just outside their own 20 now. And Huddersfield, has that sparked them into life? There have been times this season that they haven't started games that strongly.
I think it has, Bill, and we're watching the plays behind the sticks. There were some harsh words spoken, and the ferocity in the line speed and contact from Huddersfield so far, in reaction to that, will tell you that that's rattled them. There you go. Jody Broughton will return the ball, and we'll see what attitude they've got with the ball.
You would like to think that any team you put out is going to aim up every single week like you're playing the champions, but as we all know, that's not always the case. And I did say earlier on, I don't know whether there's a little bit of pressure on the Huddersfield Giants to be absolutely perfect in this because of the state of affairs at the Bradford Bulls. I mean, we've got a standoff playing up full-back in Lee Gaskell. We've got a winger come centre Now come second row, come prop forward in Chev Walker, aiming up in the middle unit. Purtell, a centre in the second row. So there's lots of reasons for Bradford not to really take control of this game, but it puts a lot of pressure on Huddersfield to do everything right.
Foster collected that deep kick. And Bradford have the ball back. They've had the majority of possession. There is Francis Cummins. And he'll be pleased with the start his side said in the week that he was probably next on the team sheet. So thin were their resources. Still looks as though he probably could get a game, the Bradford Bulls coach.
I'd like to see him at prop, Franny Cummins.
Here's Sidlow. Well, he does look in place. I think he's probably one of the few that's actually where he's meant to be in this Bradford side, isn't he?
I'm thinking about Chev Walker, and made his debut as a 16-year-old. I played in the game alongside him. Very young, bright-eyed. I bet he didn't think that all these years later he'd be lining up in the front row against a huge pack like Huddersfield Giants have got.
A kick from Gaskell, collected by Griggs. And they now will look to keep Huddersfield deeper in their own territory. Paul Anderson, early days for him. Won't be too troubled by the start. Knew that Bradford had to come out of the blocks quickly, and that's exactly what the Bulls have done.
And it's about being honest up here. Well, you know you're playing against a big, ferocious set of forwards that Huddersfield have got. You've got to make sure that you get up as quick as you can and don't give the space to Luke Robinson or Danny Brough.
40-20 effort from Luke Robinson, just kicks back infield. Foster is there to retrieve it. Gaskell retreats, and the Huddersfield Giants advance. And right on Foster, pinning him down. He can't make any progress. Now Huddersfield will look to turn the tables on the Bulls.
Bill, good kick, good chase. There were 5 men, 5 Huddersfield Giants in that kick chase team looking to apply the pressure on the Bulls now near their own line.
Robert Hicks barking out the orders. Referees, you've got to say, over this magic weekend so far, have done a good job. We've seen some tough games to referee as well.
Well, it's not just a big occasion for the players, it's a big occasion for the referees, isn't it? They want to be a part of this brilliant magic weekend.
And it hasn't always been the case at the magic weekend where they've covered themselves with glory, you have to say.
It hasn't, but I'll also make the point that, you know, 7 games in one place, 7 different referees, everybody's looking at how consistent they are, and I think they've done a pretty good job so far.
I agree with that. Huddersfield in possession. 30 metres out. Oh, Crabtree! Very nearly was stopped in his tracks. Didn't like the tackle by the look of things. There's Ferris, ball back on the inside from Ferris, restored to this side after a 5-game absence.
Well, they're hunting. There was 4 players just... They picked Earl Crabtree out and they went hunting for him.
Akumatai throws the pass, but it's snapped up by Bradford.
Jay Pitts picks up the loose pass. Akumatai just poking his nose through. A player like Sean Lunn will be tracking Akumatai. And Luke Robinson will be there or thereabouts, picking up those good offloads, those quality offloads he has in his game.
That was Chev Walker, Barry, who was hurling himself at Earl Crabtree. He might like this gig.
He's a tough, and again, you know, you take your job and your profession very seriously. Whatever he's got to do, he's willing to do it today, and that's his job.
Well, this is a good penalty, isn't it, Bill? This is a good penalty for Bradford. The urgency again. You'll see players fighting to get up, and just a second effort from Earl Crabtree. Good field position again for Bradford.
First penalty of the game then. And just a little bit of a hint of frustration from Earl Crabtree there after that penalty was awarded. We're about 12 minutes into this game, and Bradford, you have to say, have dominated things so far.
I think when we look at the first try conceded by the Huddersfield Giants, it wasn't anything to do with structure. There was enough players in the right place. They just weren't doing the right thing. They weren't aggressive enough, and they weren't dominant enough. Now, because of the penalty, the Bradford Bulls have field position, and you have to assume at some point they're going to put on the big play and really stress out that desire in the Huddersfield line.
Luke George hit that pass at pace, and Bradford fancy a maybe another assault on the Giants line here. Here is Danny Addy, their try scorer early in this game. And they're 11 metres out as Addy plays the ball. Here's Diskin. Gale. That's the 5th tackle. Lee Gale trying to spin his way over. And Gaskell drills the kick in. Oh, great hands from Griggs, but Griggs collects the ball, and then the penalty offside against over-enthusiastic Bulls chasers.
I think it's Chev Walker that the referee Robert Hicks is penalised here. But good chase, good build-up play. Gaskell at the line, pulls the defenders up. You see the man with the skull cap, Chev Walker. But good attitude in defence, Barry.
And they're getting into the game now, Bradford, starting to gain some confidence. Need to control that emotion. They're in front on the scoreboard, going through the nuts and the bolts of this game quite confidently, quite competently. Now do your job in defence.
There's Jason Chan. Plays the ball. Kopczak, well, that's a welcome for Craig Kopczak, former Bulls player, left under slightly acrimonious circumstances.
Well, Chev Walker again. I always remember him as a hard-hitting centre, so he loves it in the middle. He loves the aggressive type of play.
Ferris, great hands, and the Huddersfield Giants hit back as Joe Wardle crosses. Another former Bulls player gets his fifth try of the season, and that was possibly ominously comfortable for the Huddersfield Giants. The Giants clicked into gear there, and Brett Ferris returning to the side, just soft pass into the hands of Wardle.
I think Brett Ferris realises and will have it in his mind, I owe my teammates something here. He's got a lot of tools in his bag as Brett Ferris. He's got good footwork, he's got a good offload, he's a very good defender, but what he's also got is a nice pre-line, good decision-making process part to his game. Joe Wardle opens the account for the Giants. Will that settle them down, get them into the rhythm of this afternoon? Or will it just spark Bradford to retaliate?
Danny, there is Joe Wardle. Danny Brough will try and improve on his try. Reached 1,000 points for the Giants with the victory at London in the last round. And he's on target again. And the scores are level, 6 points apiece here.
When Joe Wardle catches this ball, Luke Gale's caught in two minds. He doesn't know whether to look at Brett Ferris or whether to look at that man, Joe Wardle. And Joe Wardle comes up with that try. Brilliant as the way that Paul Anderson would like his players to run onto the ball, be aggressive, run, be committed, and come up with a try like that. That will settle the nerves.
Well, Joe Wardle got 2 tries when Huddersfield beat the Bulls 66-18 in March. He's on the score sheet here to level the scores with the aid of that Brough conversion. And good to see Brett Ferris back in action. Here's Craig Kopczak.
Oh, that's brilliant, that, Bill. Kick return, 38 metres on the bum. Great stuff from Kopczak.
Here's Ferris again. Sent off in that cup game against St Helens for a high shot on Johnny Lomax. Served a 5-game ban. And obviously back and refreshed. Says he's just been doing lots of training and getting bored.
Lots of fitness on his own.
Brough now. Here's Robinson. Typical scampering run from Luke Robinson. That's the 5th tackle. Lunt. Brough stabs the kick in. Going to be too strong. I think he was looking for a ricochet there.
He was aiming for the post. I agree with you, Bill. You can see the pressure just from the inside from the Bradford defender, but he was aiming for that post just to hold the ball in the field of play.
That's the first time we've mentioned Danny Brough's name. 15 minutes already. Slowly but surely he'll start to impose his will on this game. Phenomenal player.
But things very even here. Even on the score sheet, and Bradford holding their own. There's Manchester City fan Adam Henry in the Bulls colours. Big fan of former City star Mario Balotelli. Adam Henry, now at AC Milan. Balotelli, that is. Probably fan more of his lifestyle than his footballing skills, I think. Very colourful character.
Let's hope he's not thinking, why always me at the end of the game.
As Gale hoists that kick, and Murphy squinting into the sunlight, and that ball comes back for Gale. Oh, it's popped up and it's still alive, and the referee has wiped the tackle count clean. That has come up well for the Bradford Bulls. Murphy couldn't take it. Brough in on Elliot Keir. The sun right in Aaron Murphy's eyes as that ball came down. Right in front of those posts. Gale, short pass from Gale. Good defence from the Giants. Wardle in there, Ferris as well. Mellor, that is, I think. Right in front of those posts. Here's Addy now. Addy, then Chev Walker. Walker, Henry. They're in the corner with Jamie Foster. The Bradford Bulls get a second try of the game. And Jamie Foster claims that one. And that high kick, which held in the sun, Huddersfield couldn't deal with. That was the root of the problem for the Giants, and led to that Bradford Bulls try, their second of the game.
And it comes down to pressure. As soon as the ball goes up, you've still got to make sure that you're putting pressure on the opponent. And what I liked about this Bradford side and the build-up into this play was the amount of players that just seem to want the ball. You have a look here, you can see Danny Addy. Well, he gets caught in two minds because Luke Robinson, he comes up trying to cut the play down. But there's no panic from the Bradford attackers. They just make sure that they isolate certain defenders. Patel, then out to Adam Henry, then to Jamie Foster. It's good play, Bradford.
You get the feeling, don't you, that the Huddersfield Giants just need to take this game a little bit more seriously. You know, Francis Cummins there is delighted with his team's response to the start of this game. If we think back to that offload from Akumatai, the penalty from Earl Crabtree, they basically gifted the ball back into the possession of the Bradford Bulls and allowed them to exploit what I think is their weaker edge, their right-hand side. That's where the Bulls are going.
Foster, who reached the 100 mark with that last goal for the Bulls, misses that one. But Bradford regain the lead. Shake of the head from Jamie Foster. Bradford ahead by 10 points to 6. Not proving to be quite as comfortable as many anticipated for the Giants.
Well, I'm sure John Wells will have an opinion on it when he analyses that try, but I think the action of Danny Addy, where he just holds for a fraction of a second, stands up the defence of the Huddersfield Giants. Danny Addy, coming off the back of a fabulous World Cup with Scotland, looks in very, very comfortable in 6. He's got a lot of versatility to his game. Can play in the half-backs, play in the back row, play 13. I know he's played hooker for the Bulls at different points, but a relief for the Bulls to get that ball back from the kickoff.
Paul Anderson has rung 1 or 2 changes, and notice that Crabtree and Kopczak have been withdrawn. There is Danny Addy.
There's 20 minutes on the clock, Bill. I think that's standard practice rather than those two particular players being to blame for the scoreline. But definitely Huddersfield do need to pull their socks up, or it could be a difficult game for them.
That's a good little kick from Gale, just keeping Huddersfield at the end of the field they want them.
Well, they seem to be doing everything right. I question whether the forwards could match it with Huddersfield. They have done that. The kicking game from the likes of Danny Addy and Luke Gale has been exceptional. That's exactly what Francis Cummins will want. They've gone out there with the attitude that we're going to play. We're turning up, we're playing on the big stage. We've got every right to be here, and we think that we can beat this Huddersfield side.
I can only check for tries and restarts. Heads in, ball in, out!
Huddersfield then bringing the ball out from deep on their own 20 with Aaron Murphy. Robert Hicks already engaged in a bit of running banter with Danny Brough by the sound of things. That's par for the course.
He gets agitated very easily, but I just want to draw the viewer's attention to David Fayumu, the hot stepper. He has the best footwork. There you go. He changes direction, accelerates, decelerates, all in mid-air. Brilliant player.
Here is Jason Chan. Has a good Magic record. Was in the Crusaders side that beat the Bradford Bulls in an upset in 2010. Could it be the other way round? No, not with the way that ball's bounced, because it's come up for Griggs, and Griggs then passes it straight to a Bradford Bull.
Well, he never looked comfortable going for that, Lee Gaskell. He gets up, you can see, gets it all wrong, and Griggs is there, his opposite, just waiting to pounce for that ball, but he passes it straight into Tom Alberson's hands.
There's just a few things that don't really add up for the Huddersfield Giants. We've seen that brilliant break not too long ago, and Craig Kopczak's returned the kick-off and gone through 4 or 5 players and made 40 metres. And, you know, a bomb from Danny Brough there, ball bounces, and Scotty Griggs just tosses the ball away. If you're absolutely deadly serious about competing at the top end on a regular basis and taking apart a team today with 7 of their best players sat in the stand, you have to be consistent in the way they go about the business. I'll draw a line almost towards the Salford Red Devils. They're absolutely brilliant at times and then give up the ball away very, very easily. The better teams, the most consistent teams, simply don't do that.
Well, Huddersfield did have a very sketchy start to the season, drew a couple, lost a few, and people were wondering where last season's league leaders had gone. They'd seem to have got things back together. They've got them together with that 40-20, and that's the sort of thing that sets them apart. They'll get head and feet at the scrum from that superb kick.
Well, that's what sets Danny Brough aside from his contemporaries. Knows exactly what he's doing. That's inch perfect. That the 2 back players for the Bradford Bulls don't have a prayer, don't have a chance.
And that's on the 3rd tackle, he kicks that. Knowing when to play, knowing when not to play, kick on the front foot, he had all the time in the world.
That's a flash of brilliance from Danny Brough that none of us are really surprised that he has in his armoury. We see him doing it on so many occasions. He's a brilliant player. For me, the big question now is, what can Huddersfield do with this set of 6? Are they going to flick it past 6 men, throw it between the legs, toss it over someone's shoulder? Are they going to be steady away and have some process and gradually break this Bradford Bulls team down?
Head and feed to the Huddersfield Giants then. Just inside the Bradford Bulls 20. Here is Fayumu, bounces off the first, but drives this Giant side forward. And then Sean Lunt takes them further forward and bounces off the first himself. And Bradford back on their own try line. Arms waving, plenty of shouting, plenty of talking to organise the defence. And Ferris is stopped just short of the try line. Lunt will fancy it himself, and Lunt will get it himself. Oh, yes, he's given it just for a moment. I wondered whether Sean Lunt had lost control of that ball, but no hesitation from referee Robert Hicks. And the inevitable followed that Danny Brough 40-20 kick. And the Huddersfield Giants took full advantage of it, and Sean Lunt getting his 4th try of this campaign.
All come from this 40-20. Magnificent left foot kick. Gives Huddersfield Giants the head and feet at the scrum. And I'll answer your question, Paul. I think this was magnificently constructed. And yes, an opportunity was taken by Sean Lunt, but it was because there was options and threats all over the pitch. Some slight defence there. I'm sure Luke Gale is a better defender than that. Tom Alderson, altogether too high on goal line defence, should be more crouched and more concerned with protecting his goal line. But Sean Lunt, Huddersfield Giants, very, very serious about this game.
And Brough with this conversion to give the Huddersfield Giants the lead for the first time in this contest. That he does. 12-10 the score. And referee Robert Hicks has called time off, but let's have another look at that from Lunt.
We've got some brilliant hookers in our game at the minute, and you've got to realise what's in front of you. And Sean Lunt, he looks up, and Tom Alderson, he's probably stood half a metre too wide to affect that tackle. And it's Luke Gale who's got a problem. The referee just checking, see if he needed to go to the blood bin, but
for the minute, he's okay.
Well, the Bulls are taking a few bangs in pursuit of this victory against the Huddersfield Giants. Lee Gaskell with 2 bungs up his nostrils. Luke Gale spilling blood as well. And they've gone toe-to-toe early on here. There is Gaskell.
Can't really see them. Be okay. That's his job, Bill. That's his job. Spill blood. Last-ditch effort, 100%. Every player, all 34 on show today, they'll all give everything that they've got on this magnificent stage.
Ferris, he's making up for lost time today, is Brett Ferris.
You're right, Bill. It looks like a man possessed. I'm saying that there's interference here. Good strength from Ferris. The second effort to get up and just keep those legs pumping forward. And you can see that it's Alex Mellor, the young second row, that's come back on. I'm not so sure that's a penalty.
I think he's a bit unlucky there. Robert Hicks has spoken to him a couple of times about what he calls getting in the space. In other words, not giving enough room to play the ball so that he can't play it and slows the ruck down.
Well, they paid the price there, and they could pay a heavier price here as the ball comes back inside to Lamb Patrick. He's scragged to the ground. But Huddersfield have just stepped it up a gear, maybe. That ball comes back inside once more to Lamb Patrick. He's held virtually on the try line, says Robert Hicks. Robinson now. Short pass from Robinson. The ball's batted down. Head and feed to the Huddersfield Giants coming up.
I think you've summed that up really well. Huddersfield looking to up a couple of gears now. Bradford playing at their potential. Is it Jay Pitts who just has a snatch at it? Tom Alderson has to try and stop Huddersfield from getting over. But Jay Pitts made the trip over from FC, trying to get his career back on track. Has a big job along with the rest of the Bradford Bulls forwards today.
You know, you might think he could have, from his perspective, get a clear catch on that and interception, but he had no real choice, did he, Jay Pitts? If he doesn't stick an arm out, it's a certain try. Luke Robinson going right at the line. 2 runners cutting in on very, very good angles. Really had to just do something to stop that try.
Gaskell is struggling. He's got those plugs up his nose. He's limping now. Head to toe, he's in trouble.
It's tough, isn't it? With a young and inexperienced bench as well, you need Lee Gaskell out there.
Robinson trying to wrong foot the Bulls' defence. Bradford again back on their own try line. Here is Brough. Brough just delays the pass. Griggs joins in, using his footwork. He's stopped just short. 2 tackles gone this set of 6. Lunt has poached 1. Bradford massed to try and prevent him getting another one, and Brough just couldn't bring that one in.
Well, a good opportunity for Huddersfield, just 7 metres from Bradford's line, and Danny Brough, he just tries to bring that ball in, and Paul Anderson will be furious. Try scoring opportunity that's gonna miss. You don't get many, but again, you've got to credit Bradford. Chev Walker ready to return to the park, along with Joe Arundel.
That's the frustration I was alluding to a little bit earlier on from, and it's quite evident it's still there on the face of the Huddersfield Giants coach Paul Anderson. Fantastic field position, they've virtually done everything right, and just a little bit too hasty on the pass. There was almost a backspin on a ball that was never needed.
He's wiped the tackle count clean. Huddersfield got a touch to that. Bradford did a good job on Huddersfield last season, won home and away against them in the 2013 season, so it can be done.
Well, David Payumu got a touch to that ball. He's trying to lift his teammates. He's trying to up the tempo of this game in speed of the favour of Huddersfield.
There's Gaskell. Not convinced exactly how fit he is. And plays that ball and gets to his feet. Looks pretty sorry for himself, Lee Gaskell. He's definitely limping.
That's a good kick. That's a great kick and a very good chase for Bradford defenders trying to win this first play. Good energy.
And there's a few walking in the Giant shirts. Talk about energy, there isn't much being exerted, getting back on side, helping your teammates. I'm sure Big Baloo, Paul Anderson, when he gets the Giants back in the changing room, will say, look, pick it up, lads. Pay attention to the small, insignificant aspects of your teamwork today.
Huddersfield keeping the ball alive. The referee has spotted a knock-on, and it's Anthony Mullally who's come up with the error, and Bradford will get head and feet on the halfway line.
Again, a couple of back-to-back mistakes for Paul Anderson's men. The offload, the knockback from Danny Brough, and a mistake from big Anthony Mullally.
You burst through though. Once you burst through, it was hard. I thought you were through. You get a quick play. All right. Teach you out.
And of all the skills that Anthony Mullally possesses as a prop forward, you know, I don't know whether he's 6'5" or 6'15". He's a monster. He's absolutely huge. Picking up loose balls around his ankles aren't his thing. I just don't know whether the Huddersfield Giants, in this position of the game, really needed to be offloading the ball to a touchline.
That's good defence from the Giants, though. Bundling Luke George into touch, and they will immediately get head and feet at the scrum, and this didn't last long for the Bulls.
And Paul Anderson will hang on to that. He'll say, look, if we do make mistakes, because they're going to happen, make sure we back it up with good committed defence. Francis Cummins, on the flip side, will say, look, just stay on the island, lad.
He's going to have a headache by the end of this game, Robert Hicks, because he's got Danny Brough in one ear and Luke Gale in the other one, chipping away at him.
Challenging the referee, asking questions.
Cranky halfbacks, I talked about it yesterday. Cranky halfbacks who are always angry.
I don't think they're in Travis's territory, I tell you that. There is Luke Gale. Oh, and Gale signalling that Wardle might have a problem. As Wardle went down in the tackle.
Well, it's always a worry when one of the opponents raises their arm and asks the referee to stop the clock, and it's Luke Gale.
It's his right ankle, Tez, as he's falling over. He's a former Bradford junior, as Joe Wardle began his career at the Odsal Club.
Wardle is down on that far side of the field having treatment. Bradford in possession. 12-10 the scoreline here in favour of the Huddersfield Giants. And Bradford, well, defying a lot of people's expectations of this game by really pushing Huddersfield. But here come the Giants with Leroy Cudjoe. He's been quiet so far today. And then Purtell brings him down. Here's Luke Robinson now. Robinson is tackled just inside the Bulls' 10 metres. 4 tackles gone as he plays the ball. Lunt finds Brough. Step from Brough. Held on to the ball. He had Mullally on the charge. On the last now. The ball back with Robinson. Robinson goes to the air. One for Jody Broughton to go for. The ball's going to come down. But before Lon Patrick can dot it down, Robert Hicks awards Bradford Bulls the turnover. It was a knock-on by the Giants.
Well, it was well set up. Shame it went forward for the Huddersfield Giants, but in that set of 6, I think when Paul Anderson gets his team back in, he's going to say, look, let's just strip it back, let's simplify things. Run harder than your opposition, play the ball quicker than your opposition, and we'll soon be in good field position to take the opportunities that present themselves.
That was a penalty, wasn't it? Surely that was a high shot. It's Anthony Mullally, isn't it? Over Luke George.
Touch judge was on very quickly there. Mullally, well, spoke about his height earlier on, Paul. And he got that one wrong, was too high.
I think the initial contact was on the ball, but he ended up around the neck, which is what has brought on the touches.
Here is Adrian Patel. He's got, well, mixed memories, you'd have to say, of the Magic weekend. Of course, he had that heart attack after the game against Leeds a couple of years ago, but miraculously was back in action for last year's Magic, having defied a lot of people's predictions that it might be a career-ending incident, and great to see him still in action and back at the Magic weekend for another attempt. And Bradford in possession. Addy now, Jay Pitts Gale, short ball from Gale. That's the 5th tackle. Gale it is, stabs the kick in. Patel will chase, can't quite get to Griggs. Griggs, like a soldier on manoeuvres, rolled and got back to his feet, rolled again.
I did well then, Griggs. He had to contend with quite a few players rushing towards him. He had his back towards those defenders, caught the ball, span around, pirouetted, tip-tap-toe, got back in.
Here is Fayumu, back with the Giants, had to go home on compassionate leave for a few weeks, a short time ago, because of family reasons. Brett Ferris now, offload from Ferris. Mullally.
If there's one place that they need to improve, it's the offload. They've got to stop the offloads. Whenever you go into contact, make sure you wrap the ball up on the likes of that man, Brett Ferris and Fayumu.
Jason Chan now, spun to the ground. Alberson it was making the tackle. Brough gets away from the attempted tackle of Adam O'Brien and then finds a bit of space. Now, can he find some support? He can. And Robinson wrong foots Elliot Keir, and Luke Robinson will get the try for the Giants. We'll put that down to the initial break from Danny Brough, who cut the Bulls defence apart, and Luke Robinson was there to claim his 4th try of the season and his 50th for the Huddersfield Giants.
Well, Bradford, they were expecting the kick. It was the 5th tackle. And Danny Brough is one of those players that seems to be able to come up with anything. The little pump for the ball, that got Luke George interested to what was going on outside. And then the support play from Griggs and from Luke Robinson was just enough. But the initial burst, just have a look how quick that Danny Brough can accelerate. He gets through the gap, he steps off his left foot. The dummy, Luke George goes for it, Lamb Patrick cuts inside for Griggs to pick the ball up and Luke Robinson to finish it off with a try.
For me, there was just simply Danny Brough being far, far too good. Young Adam O'Brien just popped out the line, a little bit of over-enthusiasm, and Danny Brough just needed an inch and he took it.
Brough takes the conversion and succeeds with that. 18-10. The Huddersfield Giants lead. Luke Robinson's last try was against the Bradford Bulls in March. He's on the score sheet against them again today.
And picking up on Tez's point about the offloads, about Bradford stopping them, I think Huddersfield need to stop them. That could undo some of the good work. When they play like this, and these are simple, just run, see what's available to you. Don't force the issue, don't force the offload, and they come up with great rugby league like that.
Chop in with your legs. When you've got the ball, don't pin your legs on the tackler. All right.
So the Bradford Bulls find themselves trailing again. They led early on, but Huddersfield gradually beginning to dominate in this game. Here's Fayumu, and Fayumu offloads that one.
There
like a quarterback pass, that was.
There you go. I'm not sure they need it, Bill. Run hard, play the ball quick. Simple as that.
That pass, well, finds Jody Broughton. Now this guy has got some speed. We haven't had a chance to see it so far, but he's going to take on Gaskell. He's going to wrong foot Gaskell. He's going to go all the way, Jody Broughton. First real chance he's had in this game. And he has carved the Bulls to pieces there. Jody Broughton gets his 6th try of this campaign from deep in his own half. The pass was on his toes, and he showed a clean pair of heels as well. That was great skill, great pace.
Well, we talked about the offloads again, going into collision, getting your arm free, and Jody Broughton, one of the fastest men in Super League. Lee Gaskell, he doesn't know whether to show him the outside or just try and weigh him up. He tries to weigh up the situation. By the time he's thought what he's going to do, Jody Broughton stepped up the right foot and skinned him on the inside. Excellent play from Huddersfield, and this is more like what we're used to seeing from Huddersfield.
Well, this is Huddersfield again in full flow. Jody Broughton, too fast, too skillful. And Lee Gaskell, I think Bill's right, he's carrying an injury. can't contend with that threat. The Formula One race car scores the try.
Danny Brough back in front of those posts to add another one, and suddenly Huddersfield Giants have got a grip of this game. 24-10 they lead. Jody Broughton got 2 tries in 2012 on this ground for Salford in a win against the Giants, but look at this one.
Well, there's a bit of daylight. It's just approaching the end of the first half. There's fatigue in the ranks of the Bradford Bulls. Probably now is the time to be pushing those passes, because you've got some real fatigue in there, to the delight of the chairman, Ken Davey. The Giants in control of this game now.
One of the Giants' close season recruits, Jody Broughton, from the Salford Red Devils, where he was the top try scorer in his 4 seasons at the club. Got to double figures in every one of those seasons. And that's a great talent to have in a side like this, which can set opportunities up like that, and then to have somebody with that pace to finish them off. And they're coming again now, Huddersfield. It's been a gallant first 40 minutes from the Bradford Bulls, but it's ending with Huddersfield really looking as though they're going to take charge of this contest.
Well, they're starting to play after the good go forward off the likes of Fayumu. They're shifting the ball from one side to the other. They're looking at pulling out defenders out to the line, isolating certain people, and again looking to shift the ball, bring the ball back, test the middle unit of Bradford. Only 14 points in it, Bill.
Brough thumps that one downfield, and it's a wicked one, but it's going to bounce dead, and that'll be the last action of the first 40 minutes here at the Etihad Stadium. Magic Weekend game number 6, and the Bradford Bulls, a half that started so strong.